Hello everyone. So let's discuss one more MCQ today. It is again a case-based MCQ. A 41 years old patient came to ENT OPD with complaint of right-sided hearing loss. Rene test was negative on right side and positive on left side, and Weber was lateralized to left side. So what is the diagnosis? Now this is an MCQ which is based on the concept of tuning fork test. So two tests have been done, Rene test and Weber test. Now based on these two tests, we need to know what is the diagnosis. So the points here are that the patient is having right-sided hearing loss. So in such questions, the first two options as seen here, left-sided conductive or left-sided sensory neural, they are already ruled out because the patient is having right side hearing loss. So it will be either right side conductive or right side sensory neural. Now let's interpret the results of this tuning fork. So first is left-sided conductive hearing loss. So if a patient is having left side conductive hearing loss, then Rene test needs to be negative on the left side, but here it is positive on the left side. So this option is incorrect. Second option is left-sided sensory neural hearing loss. Now if the patient is having left-sided sensory neural hearing loss, then the Weber should lateralize to the opposite ear, that is right ear. But here Weber is lateralized to left ear. So again this option is also ruled out. The third option is right-sided conductive hearing loss. So the Rene test is negative on the right side. So we can say that maybe this patient is having conductive hearing loss on the right side. But then in that case, the Weber should have lateralized to right side also. But here we see that the Weber is lateralized to the left side. So again, this patient is not having even right-sided conductive hearing loss. So the patient is having right side sensory neural hearing loss. Now the question here will be, then if the patient is having sensory neural hearing loss on right side, then why Rene test is negative on right side? It should have been positive. So the correct explanation to this is that this patient is having a false negative Rene on right side. It means that the patient is actually having severe sensory neural hearing loss on right side, but because of the transcranial transmission of the sound during bone conduction study, the patient hears from the opposite ear, and it gives a false perception that the bone conduction is better than the air conduction on the right side, and we think that the Rene is negative. But actually, the patient is having right side sensory neural hearing loss. So this whole MCQ is based on one concept. It is false negative Rene test. Now this false negative Rene test, it is because of the transcranial conduction of the sound. And to avoid or to catch false negative Rene test, we need to do either the Weber test. So in the case just now we saw that the Weber was not lateralized to the right, it was lateralized to the left. So we could find out that in right the Rene test was actually false negative. And the second method is by masking. So whenever we are doing any bone conduction study, we mask the opposite ear so that it does not interfere with the hearing evaluation of the test ear. So by these two methods, we can find out that whether the Rene is actually negative or it is false negative. I have a series of videos on tuning fork test, different tuning fork test. So this is a link of the playlist of the same, and I'll be sharing this link in the description box also so that you can go through them. Thank you.